Hello class, these are our 2-6 notes equivalent equations for Algebra 1. So we start out with an example. Suppose we bought 2 packs of markers and a 50-cent glue stick for $6.10. If P is a dollar cost of 1 pack of markers, write and solve an equation to find the value of P. All right, so let's see what's going on. So we bought 2 packs of markers and a 50-cent glue stick. It sounds kind of like, I don't know if that's back to school shopping or not, because that's not very much, right? So that's more like, hey, I ran out of school supplies. It's close to the end of the school year. But we're going to the store and we're only buying 2 packs of markers. And markers are what we don't know. So we bought 2P. And we also bought a 50-cent glue stick. So it doesn't mean 50 cents per glue stick. It just means only 50 cents on a glue stick. And we spent $6.10. So we're being asked to find the cost of P. So we had to write and solve an equation. So here's my equation. And then I've got to think about what's going on here. I guess I would subtract 50 cents on both sides. And so 50 cents minus 50 cents is gone. So 2P is going to equal, what am I doing next? So let's see, 610 minus 50 cents, that's going to be $5.60. And then I would divide both sides by 2. And then P is going to equal $2.80. All right, now suppose a friend bought 6 of the same packs of markers and 3 50-cent glue sticks and paid $18.30. Now write an equation to solve for P. So a friend bought 6 of the same packs of markers and 3 glue sticks. So 3 glue sticks. So 3 times 50 cents and paid $18.30. So let's think about this. So let's make sure we're right. A friend bought 6 of the same pack of markers, 6P, and 3 glue sticks. Okay, 3 times 50 cents. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to first multiply that 3 times 50 cents. So that's going to be, and just kind of simplify the way it looks, that's going to be $1.50. And then I'm going to go through those same solving steps, where now I'm going to subtract $1.50 on both sides. I know we've been working a lot on solving equations the last few days in class. So then this is going to zero out, and I would have 6P is equal to $18.30 minus $1.50 is $16.80. And then we are going to divide both sides by 6. And the reason I'm dividing by 6 is it's 6 times P divided by 6. That makes a 1P. And so P is by itself. And we get $2.80 again. So we can say that the 2 equations we have solved are equivalent equations because they have the same solution. So they have exactly the same solution. So even though they looked very different, in both of them, P was equal to the same thing. They had the same equation, and so they were equivalent. And really, if I'm looking from one equation to the next, something that you might have noticed here is that if I was to go ahead and take this whole equation here, so I'm trying to use my highlighter here, so if I took this whole equation here and I multiplied it by 3, I would get the second equation. So 3 times 2P makes 6P. 3 times the 50 cents, well, I have 3 times 50 cents here. And if I do 3 times $6.10, I get the $18.30. So one of these equations is really just a multiple of the other. So they are equivalent equations. All right, so we are going to consider this following equation now. 2P plus 50 cents equals 960. So kind of similar to the one we had, but a little bit different. And so we want to see which ones are going to be equivalent. All right, so first they want us to look at adding 350 to both sides. So if I had 2P, and I believe that this is wrong right here. I think we need this to be 2p plus, I think we want it to be what we had originally. Let's see, we had 0.5 and we had $6.10. Okay, so if I add 350 to each side of that, that means I have 2p plus 0.50 equals 610, and then I want to add 350 to both sides. So now I would have 2p plus 4 equals $9.60. So that would be my resulting equation. And is it equivalent? And yes, it's going to be equivalent. So these are equivalent moves. And what this just means is that instead we bought way more glue sticks, right? Glue sticks were 50 cents each. So this is when we buy 8 glue sticks instead. All right, next one. Subtract 50 cents from the original equation. So if I am subtracting 50 cents from each equation, so then what is my resulting equation going to be? Well, I'd have the 2p plus 0.50 equals 610, and I want to subtract 50 cents on both sides. So let's think about what would happen. That would be 2p equals $5.60. So this would be like our cost with no glue sticks. So cost of 2 packs of markers, no glue sticks. So we're adding a little bit of extra information in here that they're not asking us to do, just because I know you're going to have to do it on some of the homework. So we're coming up with this resulting equation. It has equality because we're doing the same thing on both sides. Here we added 350 on both sides. Here we subtracted 50 cents on both sides. But we're also trying to give it some real world context because you are going to have to do that a little bit in class. Whoa, we got that really big here. Multiply each side of the original equation by 1/2. All right, so we're going to do 1/2 times our original, which is 2p plus 0.5 equals 610. So I'm going to multiply the left side by 1/2, and we're going to have to distribute it. I'm going to have to also multiply the right side by 1/2. So this one is not really going to have a real world application because I can't buy half a glue stick, right? So there's no real world idea here, but let's go through and see our equivalent equation. 1/2 times 2p is a 1p, which is just p by itself. 1/2 of 50 cents is 25 cents, and 1/2 times 610 is $3.05. All right, the next one says apply the distributive property in reverse, which is factor, to rewrite the left side. So what that means is instead of distributing a number in, I'm going to distribute a number out. So if I think about how originally we had 2p plus 50 cents equals 610. On the left side, because I have a 2 in front of my p, I'm going to divide out a p from both of them. So instead of multiplying a 2 inside, I'm going to divide it out and put it in front. So 2p divided by 2 would be a p. 50 cents divided by 2 would be 25 cents. So let's go ahead and write this over here. We're kind of writing things all over these boxes tonight. And I could think about how if I distribute this back, so we're not asked to distribute it back, but if I did, 2 times p gives me 2p, plus 2 times 25 would be 50, equals 610. So same thing, right? It's not any different, it just looks different. All right, last one. Oh, I guess we have 2 more. Okay, so we're just going to fix this really quick here. All right. So this one says these moves result in equivalent equations because, and that's because we did something the same on both sides, right? That is equality. Those are the kinds of things we do when we solve equations. We didn't change the value of either of the sides. All we did was the same thing on both sides. So, would we have equivalent equations if we subtracted 50 cents from the left, but added 50 cents to the right? Let's go ahead and write a sentence here. We did the same thing on both sides. Just like when we solve an equation. These are our properties of equality. So we talk about adding the same number on both sides, addition property of equality. We use distributive property. So anything that we're doing the same on both sides. So what if we subtracted 50 cents from the left, but added 50 cents on the right? So let's look at that. So if I have 2p plus 50 cents equals 610, sometimes I just need to see it. It says we subtract 50 cents from the left, but we added 50 cents on the right. Okay, so what I can see here is I'm not doing the same thing on both sides. So this is going to be no. No, we did not perform, creative spelling there. Let's go ahead and fix that. The same operation on both sides. We used the same number, but on one we added, the other we subtracted. As always, if you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher for help during class.